What's going on, everybody? Brandon Schaefer here. Thank you for joining me. Let's talk about painting from life first and foremost. I know for me personally, painting from life was a huge help in increasing the quality of my work. I painted still lifes almost every day for 2 months, and my work just got better and better because I was able to control the light, the colors, the objects. I had control of all the elements, and this really helped me understand what I was seeing and helped me translate that onto the canvas. Now, doing plein air, painting outside, painting landscapes from life, I've done a little bit of that, and I'm always working on doing more of that and increasing the quality of my work as I'm painting outside. But that's a greater challenge because the light moves very quickly and nature doesn't care about you painting. When you go outside, it's just relentless. The heat, the wind, the rain, any kind of elements, nature is not forgiving. It just does what it wants to do, and you have to work in those kind of parameters and accomplish what you can. But overall, painting from life, even if you do it outside and you fail a few times, you're gonna get better. It's a process that takes time, and you have to learn to see and to learn to translate what you're seeing onto the canvas. Basically, it helps you develop a greater understanding of what you're seeing as an artist, as a painter. And a great example of why painting from life can be a very helpful thing to increase quality of your work is from Burge Harrison. He was an artist back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And he wrote a book in 1909 entitled Landscape Painting. And in this book, in one of the very first chapters, he talks about painting from life. And there's a quote here where he says, quote, "But this scientific fact would still remain an artistic lie. Fortunately, we painters have to do only with impressions and not with realities." And what he was talking about there, he was talking about when taking photographs from a camera, what it's mostly going to show, the focus of that camera, is going to give you all hard edges, sharp edges on everything. So that's what he was talking about when he was saying this scientific fact. It may be a scientific fact that that edge of a tree, or every edge of the leaf, every leaf on the tree is a hard edge. We know objects have these hard edges. We can see that, we observe that, or we know that as a scientific fact. But when you observe, what you observe as an artist is different. The way light interacts with the atmosphere and with the objects, we know that things get softer and get lighter, and all these different things happen. And we translate that onto the canvas. We give the impression of the scene. You know, these scientific facts of all these things are hard, all these edges are hard, is an artistic lie. So if we painted as science tells us, it wouldn't be a good painting. So that's kind of sums up what that quote, what he was talking about. So that's why painting from life is so important, because we have to observe what we're painting and not just going off of what we had learned in school or what we think we know as scientific facts. We have to observe in nature and translate that onto the canvas to create great art. So now let's talk about designing a painting. So, because they're kind of differing things. I know a lot of artists may hear, okay, paint from life, so that means paint exactly what I'm seeing. And sometimes you do want to do that. You do want to paint exactly what you're seeing, because it's great to try to capture that and understand that and have an understanding. But it doesn't mean that you're going to have a good composition. Nature doesn't care about your painting. Nature doesn't create these great designs that are good compositions. So talking about design in a painting, here's a great quote from John Carlson's Guide to Landscape Painting, a book that John Carlson wrote back in the early 1900s. "The beginner in painting copies nature in all of its literalness. He makes his painting look like the place. Soon, he learns to omit the superfluous, grasp the essentials, and arrange them into a more powerful and significant whole." So that sums up right there design in a painting. He actually has an entire chapter in his book on design. So that just shows how important design was to him, because he believes that nature there's so much information in nature. And it's not going to give you this great composition, that's going to look like this great piece of art. We have to design that. We have to take those elements from nature, all that information, simplify it, and create a great piece of art. So to sum up and just give my thoughts on it, should you paint from life or should you design a painting? I think we have to take from both. I think there's great ideas in both of those concepts. I think both of those concepts are great, painting from life and designing the painting. So I think we have to learn from everything, from all artists throughout history, even artists nowadays. There's so much to learn, there's so much information out there, there's so much information in nature. And I think painting from life is very, very important to learn all these different elements and how to translate them onto the canvas. And then take that information, that translation, those impressions from nature, not the scientific facts that science says that we know, but the impressions that we see as artists and as painters in nature, translated onto the canvas, and then taking it a step further and designing what we see, moving trees around, changing the light a little bit, putting that light on a tree in a different spot, or playing down some areas, you know, completely leaving things out. You know, as artists, we kind of have to, sometimes we have to lie a little bit to create some great art. And I would say take as much as you can from nature and try to be true to that scene that you're looking at. But don't have it be so true that it hurts your art and that it doesn't create a great painting. So leave out what you need to and add in what you need to. Do what you have to do to create great art. But try to be as true as you can to the scene you're looking at, as far as the impressions that have been placed in front of you and upon you. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you on this topic of painting from life and painting from, you know, designing your own paintings. What have you learned in doing both of these processes? Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Check out my Patreon down in the link below, and also other ways you can support my channel. Keep on painting or drawing. Don't get discouraged. Take care of yourself. Peace.